Everyone is still trying to raise capital using the old school methods. They are. They're all still trying to go to conferences, network, set up booths, and do all this stuff. I'm not poo-pooing on that stuff. It's just slow. Have you had moments where you're just like, shit, if I just find one person to talk to, this is going to pay for itself? We all have, right? Sometimes and it's a horrible waste of time, especially if you don't have it set up right. You don't have you don't have the funnels, you don't have the lead magnets, all this stuff. Those are the old school ways of doing it. So the problem there is that it sucks up all of your time. So I'm calling out the demon that you're dealing with in that context. People are very clear on why they should listen to me for the next 20 minutes because I've called out the things that they're thinking. So the target investor system and exactly how we use it for our business. This is the most valuable thing you guys will pick up out of today is when you teach your clients or when you share stuff, say we did, not you should. As soon as you start talking about we did this and here's what happened, I'm going to listen to you because you did something. Don't lecture me. Don't tell me what I should be doing. Tell me what you did and how it worked for you. Because especially real business people that have actually done stuff and are doing stuff can smell bullshit a mile away. Like if you're just repackaging and regurgitating someone else's story and you're trying to position it as yours, it's going to come across exactly the way it is. But if you're like, here's what we did and here's what happened, you can't really argue with me about that. Like, here's my experience. So here's the first piece. For context, there's over 24 million high net worth people in the US and another 17,000 private equity firms and family offices, all looking for places to invest. So there's no shortage of investors. But there's a shortage of opportunities packaged in the right way. Right? If you're a real estate agent, you know the story. You can have a house that doesn't sell because the real estate agent doesn't know what he's doing. Right? So it's not packaged correctly and shown to the right people. At the time, I should have updated the number. So to grow our database to 55,000 people, we had to do three things. Number one, we had to audit our network. Number two, we had to create our ideal investor avatar. And number three, we had to create an outreach strategy for every single one. So what I'm doing is rather than saying you should, here's what we did. And you care now because, well, you want to build up a list of 55,000 people. Here's how we did it, right? Show me, don't tell me. So your tribe consists of 5 different types of people. Number one is you've got your core champions. These are the people, whether you're plowing snow in Sudbury and you need another contract, or if you want to run a lemonade stand in Florida, they're your core champions. They don't care, or you're buying real estate. They're going to support no matter what you're doing. You know, you have people in your life that will support you no matter what. Those are your core champions. You reach out to them in a different manner. Number two, you have your industry allies. Those are people in this room. Literally, you're part of a network. You're part of a community. You are allies. I mean, you're not competing with each other. I can tell you that. You're competing with the banks because they want people's money just as much as you do, and they got a bigger marketing budget. So if anything, this should be a collaborative environment. The third group is your mentors and advisors. There are so many mentors and advisors that you can lean on for not capital, but other things. If you just have the right scripts for it, it'll open up a whole world for you. 4 is followers, your online community. And 5, you admirers. Now, I literally had people chase me out of the room I was signing. They didn't know me 25 minutes before I got on stage. I'm signing books, I'm doing podcast interviews, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Why? Because I spoke to them at such a deep level that it connected with all the aspirational things that they were trying to do. They just didn't know how to put it into words. Now, I'm not saying you're going to hit that level with people immediately, but if you're mentally thinking in that direction, you're heading in the right, you've got the right goalposts, so to speak. The next piece is attention and leads. Remember, target, that's T-A, target, attention and leads. There's 2 types of platforms you guys need if you want to create attention and leads. Number one, platforms you own, and platforms, other people's platforms. Again, the frame of here's what we did. Here's not what you should do. Here's what I did. It's such a more powerful frame because you can't argue with what I did. It's what I did is my experience. 1, we did live events. I kind of skimmed through some of this stuff, live events, live webinars, Facebook groups, online challenges, evergreen lead funnels, and a best-selling book. Now, the next piece is, so those are the platforms that we created for ourselves. If you're not ready to do all the things that we did, again, remove skepticism, here's how to leverage other people's platforms. Again, here's what we did. I spoke on all these podcasts. Here's how I did it. Told the story, the media kit example I gave you guys earlier, et cetera, et cetera. Conferences, how I was able to speak at different conferences over the years. Media kit, story, tie back, some of the things I'm telling you guys as well. masterminds, meetup, other people's social media, how to leverage that. And again, tying all that together. And I said, over the years, we developed the templates, scripts, blueprints necessary to have people invite me onto their platforms. I asked, who here would like to speak on other people's platforms? 300 hands, 300 phones, everybody. Of course. Why wouldn't you want to? And then for fun, I always ask the question, I go, okay, just out of curiosity, who in the room is not going to put their hand up no matter what I ask? And then everyone typically laughs, and then a few people put their hands up. I go, I knew it was, So you just, eventually you find a way to have fun with this, is what I'm trying to say. So literally, we've learned to automate this into a few hours a week, even if you don't have a team. We do. That's why you guys are going to learn about VAs this afternoon. That's literally how you automate it. Because the whole point is to create interest. If you have 20 minutes, you don't have time to say anything. You just don't. 20 minutes is not a lot of time to say anything other than to create a high degree of certainty with someone that they want to keep talking to you. That's all you have time to do. So again, here's some of the best platforms. So recognition and branding. A brand creates familiarity and a sense of urgency with investors. So when you're branded, you're not going to have to buy investor leads, investor lists. You'll literally get paid to grow your business. Again, to build a quality network, you need to be a personal brand. And here's exactly what I did to build my personal brand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Validation, third party validation, because these are the things I've done. Can't argue with me. Here's what I've done. Here's my experience. So within what you guys are doing, you got to get to a point where you create. So by the way, the target system is called what's called a unique mechanism. That's what that actually is referred to, is you create a unique mechanism for your business, something with an acronym that ties back to why you do what you do, how you do it, and why you're the right person about it. My other unique mechanism in my business, you guys might remember, is the easy method. Exclusive, abundant, scarce in your allocation. That's how you close deals with investors. And the reason why unique mechanisms are so important is because it crystallizes your methodology. I literally trademarked this thing. It's my methodology. If you start to mentally think things through in that manner, and again, it can't be garbage, okay? Like you can't just create stuff just to create stuff because people will see through it. But if you actually create something of value and people can use it and implement it, that is in of itself valuable. Like I can license this methodology. And again, this ties back to your personal brand because I'm the guy that taught them this, that taught you this. So my credibility is here. All of you have something that you're fantastic at. It's just packaging in a way and putting it in front of people that care. You guys all have stuff. I know a lot of you guys, it's like, I can't do the things that you can do. And that's exactly the opportunity that you have. It's just packaging in a way where people it's creating space for you, your terms, by your rules. And once you have that, your brand just, it shines through. So the third one was goals and milestones. So there's 3 types of roadmaps that you have to have. So I redefined the question. It's 3 types of roadmaps. The first one is an urgent roadmap. The second is an evergreen roadmap. And the third is your creative roadmap. Now, your urgent roadmap is the one that you need to be crystal clear on what happens when you want to close a deal in the next 30, 60, 90 days. You know exactly what needs to happen in what order. Most people are sitting there going, trying to figure it out, whatever. Okay, the next roadmap you need beyond that is what's called an evergreen roadmap. Those are the activities that you do on an ongoing basis to nurture and capture your existing clients. And the reason why this is important is because it's much easier to raise capital from a warm list before you need it. And then finally, your creative roadmap. This is what creates your credibility, trust, and authority, and it's what makes you an expert. Ties back to the thought leadership I told you guys about earlier. So what I've done at the beginning of the talk is I gave you contextually why things matter, and now I'm giving you practically how to do them. Now, the best part is people leave the event, they read my book, they can action some of this stuff on their own, and they're going to have success. They're going to tell us about it. Or they're going to action some of that stuff and say, hey, I'd like some help. So when they come to us for help, at that point, are we selling them? No, we're just qualifying how we can help them. If you can create that methodology with your investors, you're golden. That's the pull mentality that you want to create rather than trying to push stuff onto people. So again, I know it sounds complicated, but it's not once you have the frameworks. Once you get this, it's on autopilot. The next one's earnings and expectations. So here's a good question for all of you actually is how much do you make with your personal brand? And this strikes at the heart of most real estate investors because most of you, the way your business is set up, it's either feast or famine. And it's true because most real estate investors, they have fantastic experience and expertise. And guess what? There's at least 15 ways for you to monetize what you're doing today outside of doing deals while establishing yourself as a thought leader, whether you want to be on center stage or behind the scenes. So what am I doing? I'm addressing all of your concerns. I don't want to have to sell a course. I don't want to speak. I don't want to do this. Yeah, cool. Like there's a lot of different ways you can do this because I'm basically addressing all the issues you may have, or the vast majority of issues. Because Derek might be sitting there going, hey man, yeah, I want to be a thought leader, but I don't want to be on stage. And it's like, okay, but you can be behind the scenes. Oh, okay, cool. Like you're subconsciously like in your mind checking off the things that you're worried about as I'm going through it. And then the last one was timing and structure. So we talked about the easy method, and you guys have heard about this one. So then I left them with how to actually do the easy method. Exclusive, abundant, scarce, your allocation. You guys all know this. Before I did that, I gave an example of a practical example I used it in. Again, show me, don't tell me. Here's what we did, as opposed to here's what you should do. And basically walk them through there. Gave them an example. And I told them, I said, hey guys, look, I'm out of time. I got 25 minutes. Really appreciate you guys. I got lots more stuff I can share, but they're going to get the hook. If you want any of the frameworks or any of the things I talked about, there's my QR code. Thank you very much. People lost their shit, like absolutely lost their shit. It was fantastic. So my point is, you guys all have something you can offer. All of you have something you can offer that framed from a perspective of authority, because you're unquestionably the person that knows that thing, positioned in a way in front of people that actually care. You will literally become an overnight celebrity in that regard, if you want, or at the very least, a thought leader in that category.